Hello guys, welcome to Mini World. Just to let you know, I already created a room so you can join and we can play together, okay? So remember to join to the room and I will be waiting for you on there, okay guys? So yeah, I will be on there. Remember that the room ID is 27 656 1918, okay? Hello guys, remember that we are going to start, as always, in 10 minutes more. We are giving just enough time to the players to be able to join. So yeah, right now if you want to play with me, just go ahead and access to the waiting room. I will be more than happy to wait you on there, okay? For now, let me continue with the waiting room. Remember, my UID is in the chat. So with that, you will be able to follow all the gameplay that I'm doing right now, okay? Alright, guys. Okay, guys, and remember, we are playing right now live while we wait for joining of players. Remember that you can go anytime to this specific room. Hi, Ben Hunter, I see that you're here right now. Welcome again, long time no see. So yeah, remember that you can join to this room and we will be able to play together while we wait for the class to start. So class is going to start in a little bit. And yeah, okay guys, also remember that this is going to be the last class for the, not for mini word, just for the race section. So remember that if you have any questions, just it's time to do the right questions. Okay guys, so right now it's going to be also almost 6:07, 6:10. So at 6:15 we are going to start the class. Okay, guys, remember that you can join to the just to the waiting room. We are right now playing in real time, so yeah. Oh my god, no. Oh, I die, guys. So you see live how noob I am, okay? Alright, guys, and also remember once more that you can join to the Discord official channel. The link is right here in the description from this video. Also, you can find in the previous class description. Okay, guys, you are checking in real time how noob I am. So don't be scared. Actually, I'm not very good playing. Okay, guys, so in 40 minutes we are going to start a live class. So be ready, prepare your seatbelt. Once again, join to the Discord channel to remember that this is going to be the last class, I will be able to help you a little bit more in the channel. So yeah, check that. Where is he shooting from? Huh. Oh, I see him. I see. Okay, 3 minutes more to start the class. Hi, Akane. How are you? I see that you're playing with me right now. Also, greetings to Ben Hunter and to Fast. Okay, guys, 2 minutes more to start the class. I'm going to die. Okay, you see me die, I don't like. Okay, let's do a good combo. Damn it, you are not letting me even void sometimes. Okay. Alright, I have to be a little bit fast to get my items. Okay, I have good one. Okay. Ha. And they are going to die. Right now, as you see. Oh, wait, I'm stuck. Alright, there's the... Oh no, I hate that item. Okay. Alright guys, so right now the class is going to start. So I think we played enough. Let's give 2 minutes more to the players to join, okay? As this map is going to end in 2 minutes. And with that we are going to start the class, okay? So at 6:18 we are going to start the class. If you join to this room, you will be able to play with me a little bit more. And let's see. Where are you? Ah, you're invisible. I see you. Oh my god, he has bodyguard. Oh. Okay, there's 2 of them. Alright. So we already finished this room, so we are going to be able to start the class now. So, sorry for this, for the ones that are already inside the class. So I already end the room, okay? So, guys, welcome again to another class today. In today's class, oh, let me adjust my hat. Okay, so welcome again, guys. Today we are going to learn the finished part of the last part of this process, okay? So we have some pending things. The first one is to do the random items. The second one is to start and finish the race. And after that, I'm going to teach you some tricks to be able to fix your maps and to test your maps, okay? So, I just want to check in the chat if you are able to hear me. This is very important because, guys, remember the first classes, I wasn't able to know that you weren't able to hear me. So I was having some troubles on there because, you know, I did some part of the class and you weren't hearing me. So I just want to hear or see in the chat if any of you are able to hear me. With that, I will be sure that I'm giving the right class, okay? Okay, guys, and yeah, remember once more, most of you didn't have that much questions, but if you have any kind of question, remember that you only need to write down in the comments, and I will be more than happy to answer to you guys if I know the answer for that, because sometimes, you know, we don't know everything. But I'm going to do my best. If you still have some remaining questions, you can join to the channel in Discord channel, and yep, there we are also answering some of the questions. We are providing some help, and don't forget to join, okay? So once more, right down here around this area, you are going to find the different networks that I have. Also my UID if you want to check for or some of my different items or maps that they have in game, okay? So if you want to see that information, you will have all the information always right here. In some points or in some parts of the live transmission, you are going to have it in the right side or in the down below part, okay? All right, so let's move to the presentation again. So on the presentation, probably you're seeing right now kind of strange, for not saying something different, um, map. Don't worry, I'm switching to the presentation now, and now you're supposed to see the actual presentation, okay? So what I need you to do, guys, once again, if during the class you find out that actually you are not able to see something in the screen, or you are not able to see or hear something, just let me know in the comments, as the live transmission always has some delay on seconds. It could be some seconds only. Yeah, I will take a little bit to know that actually I'm doing something wrong, but as soon as possible I will be able to reach you back, guys, okay? So moving forward and going on with the presentation once more, and I know that most of you already know it, but just as a free reminder, we are going to do a contest. Remember that the contest is going to start on 9th of May. That means today. And you will have until the 16th of May to submit your different maps, okay? What do you need to do? You need to do a map related with racing. We are going to have that time, and also on the 17th of May, I'm going to start qualifying your works, and 19th of May, I will be able to choose the winner, okay? Once again, it's very important to participate, guys, because you are going to have different rewards. And also, if you have some questions, once more, you can access to the Discord channel, and on there I'm going to answer all your questions, okay? As you see here in the presentation, once more, we are going to have like different prices. If you are creative, if you are not, don't worry for that, because we have different kind of pricing. So we have a short list. That means that we are going to do a small list with all the different works that you have. I'm going to choose the best, and that short list is going to get a prize. The best AdWord also is going to have a good prize. The best learning one is going to have also one. The most creative is going to have one, and the best progress, that means any of you guys that actually assist to all the class and do the best job, and that actually will be able to check the difference since you start the class as you finish the class, it's going to have this price, okay? Okay, so moving again, we are going to have some rewards. As this is going to be the last class, I'm going to provide you some extra codes by the codes that I didn't send yesterday, and probably I'm going to do some permission or ask for some permissions per send you a couple of codes extra. The codes are going to be at the end of the class, so just be checking the chat, be checking everything, and with that I will be able to give you that information, and you will be able actually to have this pricing, okay? As a free reminder, join to the Discord channel. Again, please join to the Discord channel. I know you want, so remember, this is the link. The link is also going to be in the description down below. So just join to the Discord channel, and on that you will have, on this specific channel, you will have some help. So we are going to actually be in the last class once more, guys. This is the 6th class. In this class, before we only have like the time to create the final interactions, but as we left some specific things, I want to teach you everything before we finish this specific season of teaching. So I'm going to teach you a couple of things more that we have pending once more. Once again, we are going to cover the topics that we left on the previous classes. So for this one, we have these objectives. We already covered the waiting room. We already covered the objectives and the schedule, the questions from the homework. And now this is what we are going to do. First, we are going to have some time to do the random item system. I'm going to teach you the basic system to do it just with triggers. But also, as I want you to learn a little bit more and to be able to have like more abilities than other map makers, I'm going to give you a script and I'm going to teach you how it works. It's a simple script and it's going to teach you something that is much powerful than triggers, that is the array variables. Right after that, we are going to learn with triggers how to finish the race. That means to get a winner. And as you asked before, complete the lap system to know how many laps the player completes. Also, we are going to do some triggers to have the start in the race and to also have some time to voice on items before starting the map. Finally, I'm going to give you some tips and some tricks to test your maps and to balance your maps, okay? If we have enough time and we cover everything before the 2 hours, we will be able to actually play with me in a map review. You can give me any of your maps or any map that you want me to play, and I will be more than happy to play with you guys, okay? All right, so I see that some of you are commenting in the chat. I just want to know if before starting the class you still have some questions or you have some questions about the previous interactions, the previous classes that we have. If you have any, feel free to ask. I'm going to be pending to the comments from time to time, so as soon as I see the comment, I will be able to answer, okay? So, starting the class, guys, and just focusing in random items, we are going to start to create the system for getting random items, okay? Probably most of you already know it, but just in case, let me do a quick review, a quick explanation about how the random items work, okay? So right now you're supposed to see my screen in Miniboard. All right, yes, you are seeing, and just doing a double check to be sure that you will be able to see it. Yeah, you are able to see my screen. So, random items means in most of the card games and the racing games are going to be the items that allows you to actually get some advantage over other players and actually, I don't know, like beat other players to be able to be the first one, okay? And how it works in different depending of the game. Uh, as an example, in Mario Kart, you are going to have a different ability because you are going to pick some crates, and from the crates you are going to receive the items. As an example, in another games you can pick the items directly from the road. So let me show you guys in a real explanation. In this map, as I wanted the players to have only 2 items per lap, I just programmed the items to give it to player just in the middle, that means the second checkpoint and the end. So as soon as I just cross this line, you are going to hear a sound and you are going to get an item right here, okay? You can have different items, and each time that you pass, you also can get like different amount of items. That means, as an example, right now I receive only 1 charge from the gravity mine, but there are some items that can get more than 1. As an example, this item you can get 2 or 3 of them, okay? So we are going to learn how to do this specific random item system. And yeah. So as you see in the example, if I cross again the red line, I'm going to get a new item. As you see, this time I get 3 of them, so I have 3 different rockets. Okay, and that's what we are going to do right now. So, for this, I'm going to teach you from zero. So, we are going to move to the map that we were created, the map that we use as an example for the previous classes, okay? Also, remember that as this is going to be a script at the beginning, a scripting class, I want you to ask if you have any question. Because remember, this is going to be the last class. And as this is going to be the last class, I just want to be sure that you have all your questions resolved, okay? So, pretty simple, okay? So we have 2 different systems. The most common one is going to be this one that, let me show you. Yeah, the most common one is going to be by picking some crits on the road. So let me give you as an example with this one. Yeah, let's use this one, okay? So the most common is going to be that you're going to have like, as an example, a crate here. And if you player pass on it, it's going to give you the random item, okay? So very important clarifications that I want to do to you guys, because, okay, so something that happens in MiniWord is that as MiniWord is not designed by the beginning to make card games, if you use a lot of locations, if you use too much items, it's going to start giving you some lag. And when I mean lag, I don't mean that actually your map is going to start be a little bit slow. It's going to be more related in multiplayer. So, as an example, if you place a lot of locations and you do a lot of crates or a lot of pickup locations, the first player is going to be able to play the game wonderful. Also in one player, okay? Player is not going to notice any lag or anything. But uh, the other players, starting by player 2, are going to have a little bit of delay. And if the player is the third or the fourth or the fifth player, is going to be more notorious, okay? So it's very important, guys, as we design in Miniware this specific Rising game, we need to play with the limitations of the game. And one of the limitations is that we cannot use a lot of these specific locations, okay? So, as we cannot place a lot of them, we have to play with some specific features. So, instead of placing a crate system, that means that we are going to place every crate, we are going to group the areas where the players can pass through and get the item. With that, we are going to assure that we are going to reduce the speed at max as possible, okay? So, for doing this, my personal recommendation will be that we are going to place all the crates, all the different crates, in just one point, okay? So let me show you an example here very quickly. So just imagine that you create your block, okay? Did you already create your block? Right here, I'm going to use a model that I already have from here, but remember that you have to create your own. So let me choose this one that is actually a model that I designed, okay? So this box is going to be around the road, okay? So we need to save it as a block. All right, now I just need to add it to my inventory. Okay. All right, so now I will be able to teach you a little bit better, okay? So instead of placing the crates like this, that is going to be one in some point and one in other, that is going to look great, we are going to do the next thing. We are going to place one on here, like not the one, let's put 4 of them on here. And this is going to be just a dummy, okay? What we are really going to do is that we are going to cover all this with an area, just like we did on here. And when the player passes through it, it's going to receive the item, okay? So with that, we are going to actually get a less effort for the system to run the triggers. And with that, we are going to have a much efficient system, okay? So let's move to the presentation 1 second before we start. Okay, so let me see, I'm switching right now, okay? So what we are going to do, first we are going to understand something important in scripting to do this system, that is going to be the Lua tables. And what is a Lua table? So it's like placing variables inside another variables. Okay, so why this is very important? Because with triggers you won't be able to do systems like this, and with this you can create databases. With a database you can save a lot of effort and you can do some specific things that may look magic for triggers, okay? So it's a little bit technical, but I need you to pay attention. Remember the example that we placed before to understanding variables. We define that the variable is going to be the container that can have any value on it. As an example, it can have milk, water, or anything else, okay? So in this example, as always, the name of the variable is going to be glass and the content of the value is going to be milk. That is a normal variable. In programming, an array is a variable that contains more variables. So imagine this. With a variable, you can have as many containers as you have. So instead of having just one glass, the array is going to be where you store the glasses. So it can be a box with a lot of glasses, was an example where you actually place the glasses after you clean the glasses and drink the milk, okay? So an array is a variable that can have multiple variables at the same time. And the most important thing of this is that you can have different values for each one of the variables inside the array, okay? So as an example, in just one array, you can have one variable that has milk, one variable that has orange juice, ones that have Coke, one that has, I don't know, poison, water, and whatever you want, okay? So what it's going to allow us to do is to just, by using one variable, change the value very quickly and do some specific things. As an example, you can create a database. In the database, you say that the player is going to have a name, that the player is going to have a skin, that the player is going to have some coins, and it's going to have also a color. And you can change any of the variables just by calling one variable, okay? So, very important, not only can have like different values, also can have different containers. So in just one array, you can have multiple values in multiple classes. As an example, the first value of the array can be a boolean, the second one can be a string, the third one can be a creature, the fourth one can be a number, the last one could be a timer, and in some point you can have also a location, okay? So imagine, just to check the powerful tool that we have here, that you want to create a skin system that contains some extra things to sell to the player. So as an example, the player selects a hero. This hero can be a premium hero. So in here you can set up the first container of the array as if the value is actually a premium player or not. The second one could be the name of the hero. The third one can have a pet from that hero. The fifth one is the number of the hero. That means that is the number 1, 2, 3, whichever is the index for this hero. The third one could be the starting location for the players that select that hero. And finally, the final one is the timer. It could be the time before the player needs to win. So as an example, you see that with only six conditions, we can make a full skin system or a lot of things, okay? And that's how we are going to create actually our random item system, okay? So how we are going to do this, okay? Remember that in the comments or in the description for this video, you will be able to find some links. One of the links is the repository for all the files that I have here, okay? So remember that it is totally free. You can access and you can copy any script on there. Let me switch to my full desktop screen so you will be able to see how I operate this. So you are going to open the link. Remember that the link is in the YouTube description, okay? Also, I'm going to just put it on the chat. Just give me a second. All right, so you can copy and paste that link, okay? With that, you will be able to access to the same script, okay? And let me switch again to the full desktop. All right. So right now you're supposed to see my screen. So what we are going to do, it's pretty simple. With the link that I sent in the chat, you are going to open directly that. But if you hit the link that is in this description, what I need you to do is in this screen that you are going to open, you are going to search on this specific part of the screen for the one that says random item. You are going to click on the name, and when you click on the name, you are going to have all this text. So you be sure that you copy all of them just by clicking copy and paste also in your cell phones. And then what you're going to do is to move to MiniWord, okay? So let me switch to MiniWord now. And when you are in MiniWord, you are going to select again Developer Tools. You are going to select in this section the scripts. You are going to find these three options at the left side. And now you are going to, in any of your triggers or skin sets, more than triggers, sorry for that, You are going to hit a new one. You are going to delete all the information on it. And what you are going to do is that you are going to create a new script, okay? Truly sorry, it seems that miniwork gets stuck, so I have to reopen the game. Just give me a second while the game loads. All right, so I'm starting the game again, okay? So let me place in full interaction while we wait for that, okay? So once again, access to the script that I sent in the chat, copy the script and paste it into miniwork. And I'm going to teach you how we can edit that specific one with arrays. We are going to see the real time and how you are going to be using it. Don't worry, it may seem a little bit complicated, but it's going to be simpler than the previous systems that we made. We only need to add some variables in scripts, and that's very simple to be able to do, okay? So let me see, miniword is still loading. Let me know if in the top of my screen you are able to actually see the miniword. I think you're not. So let me give me a second, it's still loading. All right. Yeah, now you're supposed to see my miniword screen. Yeah, you are able to see it right now, correct? All right. So I'm accessing again to the game. Once again, I just copy and paste this script. So just we are going to be sure that I was able to copy and paste it by accessing scripts. Okay, so actually the script doesn't get paste, sorry. The script doesn't get any kind of payment, and you are going to see this, okay? So important thing, guys, I already divide this script by different parts. The first part is going to be just the setup. You don't have to mess with anything apart from this. We don't have to handle anything apart of the part that I already highlighted. But if you want to know a little bit more, this script is divided in just three things. First one, the one that I'm highlighting right now. Let me check here. You are able to actually see. Okay, I think you're not going to be able to see the actual script because miniword doesn't allow to share like the screen part. So I'm going to open this in my direct code editor, okay? Remember that you can download that editor, it's the Notepad++. And now in the fourth class, I think it was, you can have the links also in the description of this video, you can see the links, okay? So let me show you again. Right now you're supposed to be able to see my screen. So what I was telling you guys is that we are going to see this inside miniword as soon as we open it. Of course, you are not going to have this interface, you are going to have the miniword one. So this is the part that is highlighted right now. It's the part that we are going to mess with. Okay, I'm going to increase the size a little bit so you will be able to see it. So where it says item table, and that's it. You don't need to modify anything else, but just for you to let you know what, and for you to understand what this script does. This script is divided in three different things. The first one is going to be the core, that is going to be named random item core, and what it's going to do is to do all the process to give the players random items. As you see, you don't need that much amount of lines or coding. The second one is just a simple shortcut that I use to give the players and disable the players to drop or to throw the item, okay? And the third one is just a shortcut to use a sound. This sound is going to be a random sound, or I mean not like it's going to get any different sound every time. It's more like the pitch is going to be different, so the player is going to not get bored if the player hears the same sound because it's going to have some small difference, but it's going to be the same sound, okay? And that's it. As you see, it's a simple script. So right now that I already explained all of them, let me explain how it works, okay? So in Lua, to create an array or a table that has the Lua calls the arrays, you need to do this. You need to set up the name of the variable. you need to use the symbol equals, and you need to use this specific square or the normal breaks, okay? What it's going to tell the system is to create an array. It's going to tell that this variable is going to be an array. And then you can start assigning some values. So as an example, name number1 is going to have a value of, here is my name. Okay, so name number2 is going to have a value that is going to say, I don't know, a number. Let's place 100. And like that. So remember, first you need to create the variable and then you assign the values inside it. And we can do with this. Let me show you. Pues as an example, you can say that you can have a random item. So as an example, you say local r, it's equals to mod random item, random, let's just say random. And between the parentheses, you have to say how much is going to be the value. So 1, 2, number 2. This is going to give or to set up the variable for r as a random number, okay? And later, what you can do is you can place the r on here. So that means that any random value that gets on here, it's going to be set up as a name random value and this specific situation. So with this, we create an easy random item system. You are not going to find everything like I showed you before. You are going to find only this. And what it's going to have is pretty simple. First one is the creation for the variable that creates the random items. Then the random charges and the item number, okay? So once you access to MiniWord, the first thing that you have to do is to change this first value, okay? The first value that says item random in majus, in uppercase, means that this is going to be the ID of the item that is going to provide a player like random crates or something similar, okay? So how it's going to work? Let me explain a little bit more by moving in the presentation again. Okay, let me see. Right now you're supposed to be able to see my presentation once more. And yeah, what we are going to do is that it's pretty simple. We are going to give, let's say, an item to the player. Okay, so we are going to give this item to the player, and as soon as the player receives that item, our system is going to detect that receives the item, and it's going to delete this item, and it's going to actually create a new one, but this new one is going to be a random one. So we need to define first the option or to get the ID of the random item. Most of the time it's going to be a number starting by 4. And let me show you how you can get that number, okay? So let me switch back to MiniWord just to be sure and see if you're able to see it. I'm going to switch to full screen. And I'm going to wait a little bit just to see if in the live transmission you will be able to see these numbers here, because it's very important to me to show you completely all the process. Okay, so I'm checking right now the live view. I just want to wait a little bit more to be sure that you're going to be able to see it. Remember that this live transmission has a little bit late. It can have like 1 minute or 30 seconds. So I just want to do a double check and be sure. Oh, I see that Mari Princess channel is sending us greeting, guys. So yeah, guys, yeah, just greetings also to you, and greetings to all the people that are already sent some specific greetings on the chat. Okay. It seems that actually I won't be able to show you directly in game how it's going to work. So we will need to use this presentation, and we will need to use the full screen to be able to show you guys. Okay, it seems that MiniWord is not allowing me to show you the values directly, so we will need to do that. Okay, just give me 1 second. MiniWord is crashing for some reason. Have to access again to the game. So while we wait, let me switch again to the presentation. No, let me switch better to the full screen so you will be able to see how it works. All right, right now you're supposed to be able to see the full screen. All right, we left in this part, okay? So remember to find out which item is the item that you are going to create. We are going to do some tricks. Okay, I hope, yeah, you're seeing my full screen. Mini word is loading now, and yeah. Okay, so this is the item number or the item that we need to access or add into the system to be able to get the random item. And once we set up, that I'm going to set up in a little bit, you will have this down below. Okay, so let me explain. It's very simple. The first one, the one that says random item, is going to have a number here. Also the charge. So the first one is going to be the ID of the number. Remember how to get IDs. By this, in scripts, you need to click in the small options that you have just down below the main menu on the top. There's one that says insert. On there you will have like different options. There's one that says items, or yeah, it says items or something similar. On under you can have like the same screen that you use in triggers to select the item from the library, and it's going to give you this number. And when you see random charges right here, you are going to have the amount of charges that you are going to give to the player when these players enters the game, okay? Important things, if you place a negative value, it's going to be random number of charges. So as in this example, as I place -3, that means that the player is going to receive in between 1 charge to 3 charges of the same item, okay? That's something extra that I place into the system. So in the example right here, this is going to be our first item. So to add a second item, the only thing that you need to do is to copy and paste this. On here, you are going to change the number to the next number, that is going to be 2. So remember, number 1, number 2. On here, you are going to set up the item that you want to place. Then you are going to select the amount of charges. So as an example, for the second one, we are going to just give the player one charge. Then we are going to do the same. Let's say number 3, option number 3. It's going to be a different item. Remember that you need to insert the options manually, but let's say the option number is 4125. On here you can say that it's going to give 2 charges. And as you see, it's that simple to add random items to the system. So as an example, if you have 10 items, 10 different items that the player can get in your map, you need to add one by one, copy and pasting this until you get the number 10 on here. As an example on here, I'm going to do it only with 5. So right here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be sure that this one and this one match, because the first one is going to tell which item, the second one is going to tell how much charges is going to have the system, okay? And on here, once again, let's just place the amount of this specific amount of charges, okay? As you see, the only thing that you need to modify on here once more is this one that is going to be the random item, and this one that is going to be the item that is going to receive. Okay, so this is going to start the system, and this is going to be the item that actually receives. So as an example, let me show you in game. Okay, so we are going to switch to mini word. And I think with full screen I will be able to show you if the mini word loads, of course. All right, yeah, it's loading right now. So I will be able to show you in game how it works. Let's see. All right, let's check if now the system is allowing me to show that information. All right, so we were in this part. I think right now you should be able to see the items because we are in full screen. Okay. Okay, I'm crossing the fingers. I'm just checking the live view to be sure that you will be able to look this. Okay, I'm crossing the fingers. And yeah, now I'm able to see that you are able to see my screen, okay? So, Once again, on here, we are going to select the item that is going to start the process, okay? So from ID library, you are going to select item. You're going to get a full list of items. In customs, select the one that is going to give you these random items, okay? So let's start by there. I'm going to create the item. We are going to use the plugin editor. We are going to select props and we are going to add a simple item, okay? So we are going to hit new, create, and in create, on the last plus symbol, we are going to add a new one. We are going to select mix, and on here select random item. Okay, you don't have to place a description. Place an icon for it because players are going to be able to see this just by 1 second. It can be a crate, as we are using a crate. It can be also the same model that you just create for this, that is this one as an example. For attributes, select 99. With that, we are going to be sure that if the player receives more of one, it's going to have that item working, okay? So on here, select the newest item skill. You are not going to hit anything. You are going to save. We are going to get on here. We are going to add random item. And we are going to enter the game again, okay? So with that, we have our starting item for the system. Now, let me show you here in game what we are going to do. So the item that we just create is going to have an ID, a number. That's how it works actually. That's the same that the script does and the trigger does. The trigger is going to do the same, so it's just going to be converted. So as you see here, the ID for that item, and you can also see the ID by just placing the mouse over it, is 4098. Okay, so that's what we are going to place here. And now we are going to start to give some random items to the player, okay? So as an example, the first item is going to be the optical cloak item that we create before, the item that allows you to be invisible. It's going to be this one. And the amount of charges, we are going to give random charges. We are going to give random charges between 1 and 3. So what does it mean? That the player can get at max 3 from each box, okay? Now we are going to add the second item. As you see, I only copy and paste the options before. First, I change to the number 2 on this square, as I showed you before. Here I change the item, and the second item is going to be a banana. So we place a banana on it, okay? Let's move and let's continue. We are going to create 5 items just to show you how fast and easy it is to do it. For the third one, we are going to give the player, let's do, I don't know, let's give the player just some water, and the amount of charges for the previous one is going to be 1. For this one is going to be 1 again, okay? Now we are going to add another item. For this, you only have to copy and paste once again. Change, now it's the next number, so it's going to be number 4. The item ID, once again, hit an item ID, select the item, and just remember that I'm placing random items because we didn't create any item yet for this map, more than the optical cloak. Varying your map, you can place the items that you create. As some players show me that they create some rockets, some bananas to shoot the floor, some jumping skills, so you have to put those items here. We are going to select again the last item. It could be anything. It can be this one. And we are going to place, let's give like in between 1 to 20 random items to the player. Okay, so we are going to save. Once again, remember to change the name of the script because players with that are going to know, or you are going to know also which script is it. So random item, okay, very quickly. Remember that you don't need to be that specific. I prefer to be specific, but you don't have to do it. Okay, so we already have our random item set up. Now we have to run this, okay? So what we are going to do on here is that when the player passes just through this part, is going to get a random item, okay? For this, once again, select F3 tool. We are going to add a new area. for selecting the area, remember to group up the areas, okay? It's very important. So we are going to add the area here, and if the player jumps, as we only want to give the item to the player when he's at the same health of the crates, we are going to just be at the same health, okay? Not like this, because with this is going to be under the floor, just like this. So you are going to see a line from side to side. Remember, once again, to change the name, in this region number 6 is going to be items 1. And yeah, we almost got it. So we left only to create some triggers or script if you prefer. So for giving this with triggers, the only thing that you need to do is to create a new trigger set that is going to be named as items, just for you to have some guide. In the items section, we are going to create a new trigger that is going to be the trigger number 1. Okay, you are going to change it again. So we are going to place here random items. For the event, we are going to select player enters to area. So we are going to select here, we are going to choose the area, and we are going to choose items 1. Once you finish on that, we are going to add the simple item. Okay, so to add the item, we are going to choose player. We are going to hit on here, add item. We are going to select which kind of item. On template library, we are going to select the item that we create for detect random items. That is going to be this one, okay? Random item. And yeah, now we are going to test, okay? So I cross the fingers. Most of the times you are not going to get it working with your first try, but let's check if right now it works, okay? So let me place myself in third person. Okay, I forgot something. So if we have that much items, we won't be able to see that we receive the item. Okay, let's check now. As you see here, I received the items that we just set up. So remember that the second item was a banana and the last one was this is a strange candy one. And probably you're not going to be able to see it, but because we are in full screen, but it's also making the sound, the random sound, okay? As you see this time, it gives me like 3 different times the same item that is going to be the invisibility item. And right now, give me more candies, okay? So that's how we can create a random item system. As you see, this is going to be completely random, okay? As max random as is possible, because computers actually cannot give real random items, but it's a system that creates random items too. So remember, to add an item here, you also edit here and add more sections by copying random item and random charges by changing the number here, and it's going to be able to provide you random items, okay? And also, if you want to do it with the scripts, it's going to be simply to, let me show you a quick example, but it's going to be more complicated to edit. As you see on here, you only need to copy and paste. For triggers, you have to do actually a lot more effort, okay? So let me show you. So we are going to do a quick trigger for it. We are going to use random items, but we are going to create a new one that is going to be named as a random items, but trigger, okay? And what you do is just the same thing. When you pass or you get into the actual area, once again, when the player enters to the area, that is going to be the same. Okay, when you are in this area, what you're going to do is to give the player or to run here a variable, okay? So you create a variable, it's going to be a player private, it's going to be random item or random item. Remember that this is the same system that I did with the scripts, but making it by triggers, okay? So you don't have to copy this part if you're going to use the script one. I personally recommend the script one because it's very easy to change and you can just change it very quickly if you need to do some adjustments. On here, choose value, choose the name, it's going to be random item. The initial value is going to be 0. And what you're going to do is, when the player enters the area, we are going to assign a value. On here, choose assign on the left side. We are going to choose a value. We are going to choose the variable that we just create. To be able to select like a private variable, you need to choose function, you need to choose player and player's private variable, okay? In player's private variable, you are going to select the name of the variable. It's going to be random item. And we are going to select in the number 0 as a random value. And for this, we need to choose functions on math. You are going to have this one that says random number, and you can choose the number. So if in this example I'm going to do 2 options, but remember that that's going to depend on how many options did you have. And right after that, what you're going to do is to create a couple of triggers more. So the first one is going to be called option 1. The second one is going to be named as a option 2. And what we are going to do, we are going to add a condition to each one, asking the system if the player private value, or the private value of this variable. For this, we need to choose numerical, and we are going to choose function player private variable, and we are going to select the variable that is going to be random item is equals to the option 1. Remember that we only are going to have 2 options. Then give to the player a specific item, okay? That is going to be item number 1, that is going to be the optical cloak, okay? And the second one is going to have just the same conditions and the same execution. The difference is that it's going to give the player a different item. So as you see here, we have to do a lot more than effort to be able to do the system. We need to use more time just to provide a couple of options. So that's why I recommended to use the first one, because it's going to be more efficient, and you are going to save a lot of time, and it's going to be much simpler to modify, okay? So I'm going to give to the player, let's say, a banana again, but this time a golden banana. And yeah, so we go back to the first trigger, and what we do is to add two actions, okay? The first one is going to be to execute a trigger. For this, you are going to have it just like here, I think, yeah. It's going to be operate a trigger, okay? And if the trigger, that is going to be this one, option 1, check the conditions, need to be on true. So choose options and set true. So if the option 1 is true, run the action. And also we just copy this, and we need to add another one for the 2. Okay, so if trigger option 2, it's true, then execute the action. And yeah, that's it. We are going to just play the game. Remember that I already deactivated the scripts one. And if everything goes right, yeah, it's giving the items again. Once again, I'm not able to see it because I have all those items here. But let me show you. Okay, as you see, actually it seems that the script one is not disabled. Just give me a second to disable. Okay, right now it's supposed to be only working with the trigger version. Okay, once again, I need to remove everything from here to be able to see the effect, okay? All right, now let me show you. As you see, we are receiving random item. Okay, so as you see, it's going to be easier with the previous one. So remember to copy the code. The code is also in the comment section. So okay, so now let's do this. Now that I showed you how to do this specific system, I'm going to switch back to the presentation. Okay, So now you're supposed to see in my presentation. I just want to be sure. So if you didn't see it, please let me know in the comments. And what we are going to do is to get more information about tables. As you see, tables allow us to create a database to create random items. If you want to get more information, remember that you have a lot of courses that you can use for Lua. So let me show you some of them, okay? So as an example, right here, you can search for a Lua tables just in Google, and you are going to find a lot of links as support for this one when you are going to have more tutorials and also pre-made systems, okay? So if you want to go in deeper and understanding a little bit better the arrays or the tables, just remember to use your best friend, that is going to be Google, okay? All right, as you see, there is a lot of documentations and a lot of tricks that you can do. Also, you can search for some courses. There are a lot of free courses on YouTube, okay? So that's going to be an easy way to actually improve your skills as a programmer. So now, moving back to the presentation, we are going to start with the finish the racing class, okay? So, important things, guys. When you actually play the normal game, after some laps, you will be able to win. With the systems that we said before, we can do all the laps, but it's not happening anything. It's just counting the laps, but it's not actually allowed you to win or do something because we didn't set up that yet, okay? For set up this, we are going to start by making the most simple thing, okay? First one, remember that we need to make the player know how many laps is going to complete, okay? So check this. The first thing is to set up the laps system. So let me switch to MiniWord in the normal system. I don't know if you're able to see MiniWord right now. Yeah, you're able to see it. I'm also able to see it in the live view. So let's start by this. So once you are in here on the MiniWord map, what we are going to do is we are going to switch to this section. We are going to select triggers. And what we are going to do as we are going to complete this checkpoint system, we are going to set up variables, okay? So just to do a quick recap, in the previous class about laps, we set up this variable that is going to be player laps. It's going to count how many laps the player is going to win. Now we are going to create a new value variable, okay? This one is going to be named. And we are going to set up a value too, and we are going to name it as a max or laps max. The amount, we are going to give a default amount, okay? And very important, guys, on here, choose how many laps the players need to complete to win the game, okay? In my personal recommendation, my personal situation, as this is a tutorial, I'm just going to use 3. Personally, I prefer to do it like 10 laps because the players are going to have more laps to interact and fight each other. But for now, let's select 3 of them, okay? So this variable is going to count how many laps we are going to do. So what we need to do, okay? We need to do, it's just in the trigger that counts when the players complete the lap, we are going to add a new variable. And what it's going to do is actually check if the player already completes the lap, okay? So how we are going to do that, okay? It's just as simple as I showed you before. We need to create on here a comparison, but remember that we cannot check conditions directly on here. We need to create a new trigger, okay? So the new trigger is going to count if the player already wins. So what do we need to do? We need to create a new trigger. The new trigger is going to have a condition. The condition is going to compare with numerical calculation if the amount of player laps that the player completes is equal or greater than the actual max amount of laps, okay? So first select the center. In the center you can choose the condition, and we are going to set greater than or equal than. The first one is going to be in value, the amount of laps that the player had. For this, choose function library. we need to choose the player private variable. So we need to hit player and player's private variable. We are going to choose the lap variable that we created in the previous one, that is player laps. And we are going to say if the player private variable's amount of laps is greater than max laps, that is actually the variable that we just create, that you can select it directly here. That's going to be the condition. And what we are going to do now is start executing the scripts to make the player 1, okay? So think a little bit, what do you think is going to be the variable or the execution for this? Like, let me give you some seconds to think about it, okay? All right, so yeah, it's very simple. If the player gets more than the laps, we are going to make the player win. But we are going to do a couple of extra things. First, we are going to make the player know that he wins the race, and also the other players. For this, just in game, we are going to select display information, create just a information in the chat. So for this, we have some specific, let me think, I think it's this one, yeah, player group. So we are going to display a chat info for all the players. We are going to select as player set and function that says all players. That will actually send the message to all the players. And very important, on character, we need to connect some screen. So how you can connect the strings or the text, you need to choose function, and you have the first option that says string concatenation, okay? You select it and it will allow you to place two different like text. The first one is going to be the nickname of the player. So as an example here, we are going to use function. We are going to select player and player name. With that, the system is going to get automatically the nickname. Now we are going to tell the players that the players finished the race. So for this input, give a space. Remember, it's very important because if not, it's going to just be directly next to the name of the player. So we need to have a space between them. And you are going to tell something like player or wants their race. Okay? So we are going to set it up in green so player will be able to be seen. Now we are going to just let the player know that he wins the race. For this, just select player and display text to the player. That's going to create a small screen and it's going to show the player that he wants. Once again, so just hit whatever message that you want to give. I'm going to just say you win the race. Okay. And then we are going to make a sound. Remember that it's very important to make the feedback with sound, effects, and text. The players is going to hear the sound and also the other players, so they are going to know that someone wants the game. They are going to get the text in case that they didn't hear the sound, and also they are going to have a cool effect. So with that, for sure they are going to know that they won. So for sound, just scroll down on this section and select sound effect. We are going to turn on effect on a player. For this is going to be here. And we are going to just play the sound, okay? So we are going to select the sound. Once again, in the template library, you can choose whatever you want. Most of them are going to be the one that provides you notifications. So try to select a good one as someone that is able to be noticed. Also remember that others give you some feedback about the game. So like an example, 16 is the sound when you win the game. In my case, I'm going to select 12. That is going to play the legendary option. We are going, as this is going to be the last sound, it's going to be a big sound, so we are going to make it in 200s. And then for the loop, you are going to say cancel. So we already have the text, the chat, also the sound. Now we are going to create effect very quickly. The special effect is going to be play a special effect in position. Just select once again the type of effect. In my case, I like to do something that is going to be able to be seen by the player, and that is going to look like something that he wins. You can use, as an example, fireworks. My personal recommendation is doing something simpler like this one, because the fireworks actually are going to create a little bit of lag, okay? So I'm going to choose this one at the event position. That is actually going to be when the player wants. In size, you can choose whatever you want. As this is going to be notorious, I'm going to choose 1.5. Remember that, once again, it's up to you. You can select any value. And then we are going to actually make the player 1. So for make the player 1, we are going to just wait. For this, you have an option here that says waiting time. That is going to stop all this trigger for some seconds. And right after that is going to start the process. Okay, so let's wait 15 seconds. Okay, for tutorial, we are going to choose only 10. And then we are going to add the option that says allow player to win. So that's going to make the player win. And now that we have this trigger, we are going to rename it as a win. Okay, so now that you have win on here, we need to execute that trigger as soon as the player completes the lap, okay? And how you're going to do that? You're going to select this. We are going to select trigger. Operate trigger once more. We are going to select the trigger. Remember, the trigger is just here in win. And we need to actually check the conditions. So you are going to choose in the options true. That true means that it's going to check the conditions. If the conditions are true, it's going to run the trigger. Now we already have the first quick look about how to finish the racing, okay? Let me show very quickly. So right now we are in the first lap. We receive our item, we continue, we pass through all the checkpoints. We add some turbo. We renew the first lap. We have the second one, so we are going to pass, and we have the second lap. And as you see, I got the sound, I got the effects, I got the text, and around 10 seconds is going to end the game, okay? All right, so that's how you finish them up. Now let me improve a little bit this system. So we only don't want the players to know when they are going to end the game. We also need the players know if in which exactly lap is the player right now, okay? So right now, as you see, I received a mention that says you are already finished the lap, but the player is not actually going to know how many laps the player has. We are going to implement this a little bit better, okay? So select once again the starting point section, okay? The one that measures that the player completes the lap. On here, remember that before we add 2 different strings. The first one that shows in the chat that the player completes the first lap, and the second one that shows in the actual text that the player completes some laps. So we are going to use just the same, okay? For this, what we are going to see is that the text is going to be also connected, okay? So once more, we are going to do the trick that I just showed you. We are going to choose string concatenation. We are going to choose first the name of the player. Once again, we have to choose here player name. On here, we are going to also do another concatenation, okay? Why? Because we need to place more information. We need to place first the amount of laps. For this, we need to take a variable, and then in which lap is it, okay? So we are going to select again here, string concatenation, and we are going to have 2 options more. So the first one is going to be the text that we are going to place, and it's going to be has completed lap number space. And on here, we are going to add the actual lap. How we are going to do that? Remember that the variables, as I showed you before, cannot be mixed. That means that we cannot place a number with a text. We need to transform it first. So for transform a variable, we are going to use function library. We are going to use the second one that says convert value to a string. That means to convert a number in a string, okay? All right, so check this. We are going to input. Once again, out here we have the global variables. We need to use a private variable. For this, we are going to choose player's private variable. And on this, we are going to select the name of the variable. That is going to be right here, player labs, okay? Now, if I just go to the play mode, we will be able to see the effect here. So right now there is no effect. Of course, we have to just get on here. And as you see, it's telling me right at the right side that we complete the lap number 3. All right, so if I pass or cross again the main line, it's going to tell me in which lap the player is right now. Okay, so check this. Lap number 3. And once again, the number 3, and it's telling me that I won. Actually, I have to stop this before the system makes me one. And now we have the first one. We need to do the same for the information here. But before, let me show you something that is going to be much greater than that, okay? We already have this, all right? What we are going to do is that we are not only going to give the player the information about how many laps the player completes, also about the max. And with that, we are going to have all the perfect system, okay? So for doing this, instead of playing, we are going to remove that and we are going to choose string concatenation. First one is going to be the lap. So we are going to give in the previous value the color. For this, remember that with the pound icon or the hashtag icon and the number green or the letter G is going to tell the system that it's going to be in color green. We are going to do just the same thing that we did before. Select a player value. We need to first transform this value, then select the player value that is going to be in function library, player private variable. We are going to choose a private variable, player labs, and we are going to do another concatenation. In the first one, we are only going to place the color and we are going to divide it. So we are going to choose, again, the pound to give the color, the letter R to get in red color, a slash to make the player know that he's dividing, some spaces, and now in character screen, we are going to convert another value. This time is going to be the total amount of laps. For this, just select max laps, okay? Now let me show you the effect. This time, if I complete the game, let me see, are you already playing? Yes. So if I complete all the roads, it's going to show a couple of extra information. Okay, so as you see, it's going to show me the lap that I currently in and how many laps I left, okay? For the text, you can do the same. The second text that is going to be the floating screen that shows the player that he completes a lap. And yeah, with that, we are going to have the first three. So something that is going to be even better is going to have a small screen that will show you all the time over here in the top. That will show you right here how many times the player has been complete and which lap is it. Okay, to create this is also simpler. So let me show you that part now. And with that, we are going to finish this introduction, okay? So we already have this one. We are going to create a new variable here. It's going to be a private variable. The class for this variable is going to be timer. Timer is something that makes a count to, it's like a clock. In the timer, we are going to choose lap time, Okay, and also let's play player at the beginning, so we are going to know that is the player time lap. We cannot choose a default value, and we are going to see the variable right here. So what we are going to do, at the beginning of the game, we are going to give the player like this lap, and also per round we are going to renew this lap. Okay, so with that the player is going to know how many times he actually has to complete the lap, and it's going to be extra information. Okay, so we already have this checkpoint system. Now we need to create a new trigger set. This trigger set is going to be called as a game start. Okay, and that's how we are going to start the game. So the first thing that we are going to do is to create some basic variables for the players when they enter to the game. Okay, so the first one is going to be the event player when the player enters the game. So we need to choose here so player enters game. We are going to select to create a new variable. So we are going to assign a value. Actually, truly sorry, it's not going to be a value. It's going to be assigned, but this time we are going to choose an actual timer. Okay, so where is the timer? I think it's having a different value. Okay, yeah. So we have to start a timer. So just hit run a timer. Okay. And the timer is going to be the name that we just create. So for this, we don't have variables here because it's not a global variable, it's just a private. We need to select this one that is going to be a private variable. And here we are going to choose the variable that we just create, okay? That's going to start at this specific window. And what we are going to do is that each time that the player passes through us this point, we are going to renew that, okay? So at the end of this, we are going to add a new one that is going to be the showing for this variable. So we are going to stop that timer, the timer that we just create. Remember, once again, we are going to select function in the timer, private variable, and the name of the variable that is going to be player lap, okay? Now we are going to start or restart this timer. For this, we are going to set rundown countdown timer. No, we are going to use run timer. What is going to be the difference? This is a countdown. That means that it's going to start in the number that you are going to provide, and it's going to come into 0 at the end. And this one, of course, is going to stack the amount of time, okay? So we are going to hit run timer. On the timer, we are going to select again function player, and it's going to allow you to select the player one. And finally, a third one is going to show the player the timer, because right now the timer is invisible for the player. So we are going to select here, display the panel. We are going to select once again the timer, just do the same that we did before, by selecting the player lap time in private variables. As player set, we need to convert the player. So we are going to select all players in team. We are going to select the team of the player. So options, we are going to use function, sorry, and player's team, the player that is actually in the trigger event. And the title is going to be, again, we are going to use string concatenation, and we are going to select lap as first. We are going to select lap space. Again, we are going to choose a string concatenation. In the middle, we are going to select the actual lap of the player. So once again, we need to select player private variable. And also you need to transform this. So instead of that, select first convert to value, then function, then player private variable. We are going to select the variable that is going to be the player laps. Remember that the player's laps measures how many laps the player does. And finally, we are going to select time with an space, so we are going to have a space between the two of them. We are going to use the 2 points, and we are going to give also some specific space after that, and yeah. Now we are going to close everything, and let me show how it works. So right now, you are not going to be able to see now something, but let me complete the first lap. Don't worry, we are going to fix that later because we are going to do a system to start the game. But for now, just to show you that it's going to work, we are going to do this. Okay, as you see in the top, right now it's going to tell you how many laps did you complete, the time that you're expending before completing this lap. So with this, the players are going to have more challenging options here, okay? So as you see, it's taking me some time to complete the lap. Once again, and yeah, once again, the time renews, okay? Also, I'm not going to teach you that, but remember that you can add just a text here that tells the other players how many time the player takes to complete the lap, okay? All right, so it seems that we have everything covered until this point. Now, we left an important thing, that is how we can start the game. So, guys, the ones that already implement the system, this is going to be this one, the one that allows you to have the turbo system. You are going to require to do some specific things to make the game run with the turbo, okay? For the others, we are going to just learn the basics, okay? So, what we are going to do right now, okay? Check my screen right now, check my presentation, just give me a second. Okay, I see a new comment. Of course, yeah, just search my, yeah, if you want to just do a double check, just let's do this. Any of you guys that want to add me, just copy my UID, I will be more than happy to add you in game. And also send me a private message right here on MiniWord or add to the Discord group, and on there you are going to let me know that you are adding me, because actually I have a lot of invitation and sometimes I get my invitations full. So access to the Discord team is just here in the description, and with that you will be able to see the information, and I will be able to know that you are sending me an invitation, and I will be more than happy to accept, okay? So right now that you are checking my presentation, we are going to, or I'm going to teach you how to start the game, okay? What will be important on this one? First, we are going to set up a time for the players to shop. That means that the players will be able to have enough time to get your items and before the map starts. So let me show you a quick example of that. Just let me switch to MiniWord again. Okay, now you're seeing the screen back, right? So let me show the game that I already created for this example. Okay, so you are going to have a variable that you can use to set up how many times the players are going to have to play. Let me show you right here. Okay, it's taking a little bit. So I have a variable that controls how many times the player needs to get the items, okay? So in globals, I have this one. If I change that to 15 as an example, when I start the game, you are going to see that right here, and you have that time to get the skins, to get some power-ups. Let me show you. Okay, I think it's going to take the time, but yeah, you can just buy the items in the store system that I teach you before. And after that time, the players are going to be teleported here, and the game's going to start. It's going to have this countdown, and yeah, will allow you to start the game and play, okay? So, for doing this system, what we need to do, it's just create some specific things. So let's move back to the previous system that, or the previous map that I created before to teach you how it works, guys. So now you are able to see my screen. Just let me do a double check. Yes, you are able to see my screen, okay? So we are going to start here by creating a new variable. The variable is going to be a global variable, okay? And the name is going to be a time to buy. Okay, so it's going to be not a timer. We are going to select just a value, and the value it's going to be time to buy. Okay, so on here we are going to give in an initial value to the variable. In my case, as an example, we are going to choose again 15. With that, you are going to have 3 variables for this game. Very important, if you are using the turbo system, and also for this, please select this one that says game running, okay? And what is going to game running is just going to tell the system that you already started the race. So if you don't have this variable, please create it too, because we are going to need it. There is going to be a valuable variable, a value variable, sorry. And it's going to have the name, remember, with just one n, and the default value is going to be 0. Okay, so once we create the time to buy variable, we are going to create a new trigger. Okay, for this we are going to just create it in game start. The name of the trigger is going to be game start 1. Okay, or let's say game ini. So you're going to know that it's the initial trigger. We are going to select an event, and we are going to select in game logic game start. So game is created. Okay, first we are going to create a timer. Okay, for this, once again, we are going to select timer, round down a timer. Okay, on here we are going to just do a countdown one, not the other one, and the timer is going to be the timer, a new timer. Okay, so very important, guys. I think let me explain this, how we are going to do this. Yeah, for this one we also have to create a timer. Okay, the first one is going to be just like a value. The second one is going to be the timer. Okay, so create another variable, the time to buy. Apart from that, we are going to create another global that is going to be the actual timer. The timer is going to be called shot timer. We are going to create it, and with that you are going to have also this variable. Okay, so on the new trigger that we create, we are going to select the timer that we are going to start. The timer is going to be shop timer. The countdown, you are going to select the variable that we create before, that is the time to buy, and we are going to choose false in repeat. With this, we will be able to very quickly change the information without having to mess with the scripts. Just by changing this variable, we can change the time. Okay, so we are going to start that variable. Also, we are going to show to the players, to all of them, that that variable is working. So select on here, displayed the timer panel. On here, we are going to choose the timer, that is going to be the shop. For players, we are going to use function, and we are going to choose player group and all players. Character screen is going to be on green. Time to shop. And remember that if you use pound and the letter N in lowercase, is going to actually stop the color. Okay, so the first part is going to be in green, and the last letter is going to be just in white. So with this, we already create the timer, and we are showing to the players that actually they will be able to have some time to start the game. Okay, what we are going to do now, we have the first one. We also are going to communicate the players by chat, just in case they didn't see the option. We are going to communicate the players by just displaying a player group the chat, that they are going to have some time to actually get the item. Okay, so remember that it needs to be shown to all the players, and the character screen is going to be very simple. Just hit you have 15 seconds to get items. Okay, and very important here, guys, you can just do the concatenation technique that I showed you before to show exactly how many time left. For now, we are going to just keep it on there, and the players are also going to know that they have some time to start. Okay, also we are going to set up some initial values to the player, okay? So right now, what is going to do the item is just going to show the players where they are going to be. Now we are going to create a new script, okay? A new trigger, sorry. The trigger is going to be players start or game start, and it's going to be executed as soon as this specific timer is going to end. So for this, select event. On here, you are going to have some options, okay? So let me check. I didn't remember very well which one is it. I think it's this one. No, game running time. No, it's remaining time in the timer. Okay, it's this one. Okay, timer changes. You're going to delete the first one. The condition is you're going to select here on math, numerical comparison. On options, let's choose from timer. Okay, just give me a second. I didn't remember actually very well which one is the option here. Really sorry for that. Sometimes I get a little bit confused with triggers because I didn't use it that much a lot. I prefer to use a script. Sometimes I get a little bit lost with it. Okay, there is timer change. So yeah, I think we can do it directly from here. So timer, game, in game. All right, where was that? I lose it again. Okay, trigonometry. Okay, I don't remember. Okay, yeah. Now, yeah, it's the timer. So we are going to select the timer that is going to be the global timer is equals to, and in equals to, we are going to say equals or less, okay? Just in case. And the number is going to be 0. That means that there's no more time to wait. And what we are going to execute on here, it's going to be the actual system, okay? So when this happens, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to teleport the players to the initial point, okay? So right now we don't have an initial point. Of course, you can have a lot of systems, but the more simple is going to be to create an area right here, and the players are going to be teleported to any part of this area, okay? So how we are going to do that? It's just simpler. What we are going to do is to create an area. So once again, select the tool mode. We are going to select an area that is not right in the floor. We are going to choose at least 1 or 2 blocks over it. And remember that it needs to be just in the initial area. Remember that we place these specific parts at the sides to avoid players to get out from the road. So select here as an example and select this area, okay? You can select a couple of hails on it. And remember to rename it once again to don't get confused. We are going to select ini area or spawn start. Okay. All right. So we already have this one that will allow the player to be teleported here. So what do we need to do now? We need to make all the players to get teleported here. Okay. So if you notice here, we have some options to teleport one player that is going to be change location. But as we need to execute this on all the players, we need to do a special script and repeat it for each player, okay? So for this, we are going to create a new script again. On the same sections, we are going to select player start. And this is going to be executed on all the players. So the first one is going to be actually to move the location, okay? So what is going to be is to change just here the location. We are going to change the location to the actual, in the player and trigger event, to the actual location that we just create. So we are going to select the region. Okay, so here is something important and I forgot to tell you. As we are going to have random location inside that area, we are going to choose function. On function, you have 2 different options. Central location of the area that is going to transform an area into a location. And the second one that is going to be random location. That means that it's going to be any part or any position inside this area. And we are going to choose just the area. Okay, the area is going to be a start point, okay? That's the first thing. What other thing we are going to do to the players? We need to set the starting point as also the respawn point. So if the players just fall down, they are not going to be returning to the store. They are going to return to the initial point instead, okay? For this, select player, and on here you have an option that says change player spawn point, or set a spawn point, and it's going to be this one, okay? So select that one, and we are going to choose a spawn point, okay? A location. So remember that we create in the previous class the different areas for the checkpoints, and before the area we also check or choose a spawn point. So the first one is going to be spawn point number 0. And yeah, check this. Now we have the number 0 right here. Now, we already have the initial point, the initial spawn point. What other thing is going to be important, okay? So we are going to just make the player face the right location. So remember that right now the player screen expands facing any part, and it's going to be confusing because if they are facing downwards or just backwards, they are going to start erasing on the other side. So we don't want that. For this, we have another one that is player, and we have to change the facing angle, and we need to test with this, okay? So we have 4 points. One of them is going to be east, south, west, and north that are going to be the horizontal way. And also we have up and downwards. We need to experiment. I'm not sure how to get each one, so let's start with east for now. So those are going to be the options that we are going to select for the player at the beginning, okay? What we need to do now, we need to actually set also the variable about the player spawn for this one, okay? So we are going to add here, assign. We are going to just assign a location, okay? Oh no, actually we are not going to mess with that now, okay? So we have the simple system. Remember that this is not doing anything right now. We are going to also check a condition here. We don't want that this happen all the time, so the game needs to be already start, okay? So what we are going to do, on here we are going to start executing this trigger, the trigger that works for all the players, okay? So what we are going to do for this, we are just going to add a new operate trigger, truly sorry. Okay, now this one is going to be under this, okay? So in player group, you have an option that says operate a trigger on a player set. That's going to execute this trigger on each player, okay? We are going to select which trigger, and we are going to select the trigger that we just create in game start, that is going to be player start. This player set is going to be in function, and it's going to be all the players. And what we need to do, we need to check the conditions, of course, so we are going to say true, and that's it. With this, we are going to make all the players teleport to the area and start the game, okay? Another important thing that you need to define, guys, is that right now I'm going to be teleported here and I'm going to check to the right directions. I'm not going to see backwards. But right now, players will be able to start because they don't have nothing that blocks the players, and also to get backwards. So there is a problem right here, and it's that the players can be stuck on there, okay? So the easy solution, and the one I actually don't love it, but it's the most effective that I find, and is the most attractive one, because with this you don't have to do that much work, and players are not going to be able to exit from the map for saying like that. So the most easy that I found is to create a kind of obstacle here. And I'm like going to teach you why, okay? That was the best way to avoid players to exit, to create just like kind of a stair on here, so players won't be able to jump over it, and they will be able to cross only by this side, okay? You can place some signals to also show the players that they won't be able to pass. There's the first solution, okay? So with this, players are not going to be able to pass on here, and they are going to know that right here they can cross. The other solution is to place temporal like blocks on here that are semi-translucent like this one, and that doesn't allow the player to move until the game starts, and also right here on the game start. I used to do that for my map. The problem is more related with actually mini word, and is that we can remove those specific blocks by triggers, but if your map got selected for a public room, that's not going to work. In public rooms, for some reason, sometimes removing the blocks works and sometimes no. So most of the times the players are going to be just stuck in this area, as these blocks are not going to be removed by the system, by the triggers, by a book directly, so that's not the best solution. So I found this alternate solution. I know this is not the best looking one, but it's going to be the more effective, okay? So let me show you now how it works. I'm crossing the fingers also to be sure that it's going to work. You know, sometimes at the beginning it's going to just fail the first time. But let me check now if this system is going to work. So once more, I'm going to do a double check when the game is creating. We have this some seconds. When the time is expiring, we are going to move to all the players. So let's cross the fingers. Yeah, the first one works. Right now you have the time to shop. So right now imagine that you are in the store, you are shopping, and yeah, let's see if it works. Crossing fingers, guys. Cross the fingers with me. And yeah, as you see, it works. But you are seeing something strange, and it's that it's teleporting me all the time, okay? And that's why, because this one specifically is still working. So that means that it's going to repeat, 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 and as the conditions are going to be that that this one is in zero, is going to start making this, okay? So how you can fix that? It's much simpler. Just change here to the number 1 and just change here that is only going to execute it if it's equal to the number 1. And let's see now, but let me move away from it because with that we are going to notice. Also, as you see, it's always making me show here or showing me the east. So north supposed to be here, is on here, and west on that place. So this one is going to be the south, okay? So let me change that also. On here, on the player triggers, we are going to change this to south. So I supposed to be able to look just directly to the finish line. And yeah, let's see if this time works. Crossing the fingers again, guys. So if you're able to if you want to interact, let's do a Henki Dama for both of you that, or all of you that see Dragon Ball. So just raise the hands and let's see. Okay, so this time it's only executing one time, but I'm just checking to the wrong side. So it's actually going to be the north. But as you see, I cannot exit, and I should be able to start the race in the right position. So now I need to change just the last adjustment, and it's going to be that this one is going to be facing north instead of south, okay? All right, so we have the first part finishing. We are already teleporting and we are just spawning here. Also, if I die, as we already set up the spawn point as this one, I should be able to just reborn here, okay? Now, once again, we need to define now how we can make the players stay on their position until we move the players away. So if you follow the tutorial with me, we create a specific effect that is going to be the stun. The stun system will block the players to move or to do anything as until we remove that book. And we are going to use the same one, okay? Once more, there are another system that you can create is just by creating some blocks in here that are going to block the player's movement. The not much nicer thing about this is once more that if you place or your map gets selected to a public room or to a server room, this is not going to work sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be removed, sometimes no, and when your players play that and see that they are going to be stuck on here, it's going to give you bad qualifications and bad reviews about your map because players won't be able to play, okay? So for doing this, it's pretty simple. I'm not going to do it because I'm not interested in doing the system. But if you want to do it, you only need to create an area here and just add in here on the trigger system by telling on the blocks or in the area to remove blocks in a specific area. Okay, so I think it's going to be this one. Okay, remove blocks or replace blocks with a. So my personal system is going to be a little bit different. Once more, we are going to use the stun system. Okay. So for the stun system, what we are going to do is just be sure that we have the stun system. If you don't have it, let me create it right here for you. So remember, we are going to just go on here and we are going to create a new one. We are going to create from zero, from scratch. No, let's, instead of creating by scratch, you can choose your own, but yeah, let's say that we are going to create it from scratch just to show you all the process, okay? So you create a new status. The status is going to be named as a stun or as a waiting. Okay, you can select any icon that you want it. Remember that red most of the times means that it's going to be a bad one. You can select stun or lock. It's not necessary to choose any effect, but as an example, and just to be quick, I'm going to select one of those. I'm going to select those starts, turning around. And now, for the effect, you have to change the speed. For this, just add an effect right here. The effect is going to be change moving speed. Remember that MiniWord has different speeds, so you are going to choose -100 in basic speed. Once again, you are going to add another speed. You are going to change it to running speed -100. That means that it's not going to be able to move. And once more, you are going to select another that is going to be the sneaking. Okay, you are going to add the swimming speed only if you have some water in the map. Okay, so save it on here. Choose. All right, so it needs to be on positive, on covered, and the other doesn't matter. Okay. Now, just check if you have the buff. Enter to the game again to be able to see it. Okay. And let's see here. All right, so we are just in this part again, once more. Okay, remember that we add this last part, so we are going to add now this buff to the players. So for this, just choose add an status. Let me, is obtain effect. When you obtain the effect, we are going to select the effect that we just create. It's going to be in custom and it's going to be lock. We are going to choose remain false, and the seconds we are going to choose, let's say 5 seconds, okay? With this, we are going to give 5 seconds to start the game. And right now, if I play the game, it's going to give me 14 seconds or 15 seconds to just get the items, to get everything from the shop. Right after that, we are going to be teleported. Right now, we're supposed to see, yeah, to the right point. I won't be able to move for 5 seconds, as you see. And after the 5 seconds, I will be able to start their racing, okay? So with this, we are going to be sure that we get enough time to the players to load some parts, because remember that mini work is going to work by loading some parts of the map. And the first player is going to charge everything as soon as the player got the movement, but the other players are going to take a little bit to load all the system. So we are going to make with this specific system the things a little bit more fair for all the players, okay? So right now we have the lap time, we have the amount of laps, we have the random items too. Now we need what we need to left. Just have the countdown to start the game. So once again, always give some feedback to the players. So the feedback is going to be a visual feedback and a sound feedback, okay? And how it's going to be the sound, okay? The sound is going to be just, you know, by let the player know that the time is going to be counted. Also, we are going to show the players some specific text on the front, as I showed you in my previous event, okay? For doing this, what we need to do is to move again to player start. On there, you are going to add a new one. We are going to first select the option that says display text to player. So we are going to do this. We are going to count ready, 3, 2, 1, and then go, okay? So we are going to have a text and a sound for ready, a text and a sound for the other numbers, and the go, okay? So the first one is going to be ready. So we are going to show the player a character. The character is going to be in color green. It's going to be, and uppercase is going to be ready. Also, as we want it to be this a little bit more dramatic, more exclamation kind, we're going to make it blinking. So for make a text blink, you only need to use this tag before the text. Okay, it's not this one, it's this one actually. Remember, it's going to be lowercase b because uppercase b is going to be for color blue. And as you see here, we have the result. We are going to tell the players ready. We are going to also display the text for all the team. So we are going to select here all players. The character screen is going to be green on B, and it's going to be ready to start. And yeah, we have right here. So if I just start the game with this one, it's going to show only one, but let me show you. Okay, I'm here. We're going to wait the 14 seconds of the time to shop. Remember that you are going to have also more time. The amount of time that I recommend is 1 minute, just to give enough players for the players to take some decisions. And yeah, we start here, and it's going to tell you ready to start. Okay. All right. So something that I forgot also is that as you see here on the top, it's telling me the time to stop or to shop. We are going to hide that also, okay? So let me just adjust that very quickly. So as soon as the time the game starts equals to 0, we are also going to hide that text, okay? For hiding the timer, you only hit on here. We select which timer, that is going to be the shop timer. And on functions, we are going to choose to all players. And that's it with that. That's not going to just mess with us. On here, I also going to add a new one that is going to be to show this the initial lap, okay? So remember that we left that part. So for this, we are going to display timer panel or just like a stop timer first. We're going to select the timer. The timer is going to be once more is a private variable, so we need to choose player private variable, and we are going to choose player time. Now we are going to create a new one, and it's going to be just to show the timer panel to the players. The timer once more is going to be a private, so you're going to find it in function, player private variable, the player lap time. That's going to be shown to all the players. And the title is going to be first lap time. Okay? Remember that you can concatenate the strings to give a nicer look. And we are going to also start this timer, okay? Round timer. We are going to choose the timer. Remember once more function, player, private variable, and we are going to choose the player lap time. And yeah, with this we are going to start this. So now moving back to this one. Okay, so we are going to move this one a little bit more or rearrange because we need to execute after we stop the timer. Okay, also we are going to rearrange this one. And it's going to be, this is going to be shown to all the players, okay? That's something that I forgot. Select, okay, it's only allow me to show it to one player, okay? Okay, that's why. Player, But there was a way to do it, and I don't remember how. Okay. Okay, we are going to left this for later. For now, we are going to play with the chat info. Okay. So give me a second here. So we have to say player ready. Okay. Now we are going to wait. And to wait, the only thing that you have to tell is the game to wait. So hit here on wait time. On wait time, we are going to wait 1 second. And we are just going to repeat the same thing. Also remember to place a sound for it. Okay, so sound is going to be any sound that you want it. So we are going to turn on an effect on position. The position is going to be the starting point. So remember that we have here is the first point. The sound effect, you can choose on mark, on others. On the first like 3 is going to be a good sound, so choose the third one. The playback is going to be false. We are going to rearrange the waiting one. And what we are going to do is just copy these 2 after we wait 1 second. So just copy and paste. Also do it for the sound, copy and paste on the same trigger. And we are going to adjust. Now we are going to choose the number 3. Okay, it's going to be in 3. All right, and the sound is going to be a different sound. This time we are going to choose the next one that is going to be the second sound. That is a sound like when you start the game that gives you like 3, 2, 1. It's going to be just the same, okay? Now just copy the wait trigger here with that. Oh, sorry, I copied in the wrong position. So let's move it again to this one. Okay, so now we are waiting another second and we are going to execute the next part. So it's going to be copy again, paste again, copy again, and paste again, and copy again the waiting, just to be sure. And we left the sound. Okay, the sound is going to be also good here. We are going to move this one too a little bit. Just give me a second. Rearrange, and we are going to place it just over, okay? And for this one, for the one that we just create, we are going to change this number for the number 2. And this one is going to be just have a different sound. So once more, template library options, we are going to select the first one that is going to be another counting. And we are going to just do the same for the others, okay? And on here as an example, we are going to just copy and paste again. And what we are going to do, or for those that didn't notice, it's that actually it's going to create a countdown before starting the map, okay? And yeah, let me show you now. We are going to check until this point if everything is working fine. Remember that sometimes you do some mistakes on triggers and also in the scripting. That's very normal. So we want to be sure that actually it's going to work, okay? And we are going to do this sound. And right now we left with just one number that is going to be the start. So let me play it and test it. I want to be sure that it's going to work. So let's see. We are right here. We are going to wait the 14 seconds. And yeah. Okay, so also if you have some questions, let me know. Remember that this is going to be the last class. Okay, so this was a little bit strange, but it makes it work. We need to only change some specific things because it's teleporting the player a lot. That's because we used the wrong script. We should use the normal one, and it's running into the player one. Okay, but as you see, it gives you like the countdown here in the chat. The only problem is that doing it a lot of times. So let's move that and let's change that. This time with this, it's supposed to be working fine. Let me check why. Okay, actually there is no problem with it. For some reason, it's doing it a lot of times. Which one is it? Okay, okay, I see. So probably it's because we add this one. And let me see. Okay, I know what happened, okay? So remember this variable that is going to be game running. We need to change that, okay? So for this one is only can be executed only if that variable is equals to 0. So with that, we are going to avoid to the game to repeat it. And how we are going to do it? First, we are going to select on here. We are going to add a new condition, the numerical comparison. That's going to be game running. Remember that game running is going to have only one n. It's equals to 0. And on here, we are going to add a new action, and it's going to be a sign. There is going to be a value, and what we are going to do is to change that specific one to the number 0, okay? To the number 1, okay, sorry. With the number 1, we are going to be sure that the map is not going to repeat everything once over. So we are going to rearrange this, and this needs to be the first variable, okay? Just to let you know. So we are going to move everything up, 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 up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. We almost over. We just want to have it on the top. Okay, we almost, and yeah, that's it. So let's check if right now it's working. So I'm going to exit from here so you will be able to see the changes. Let's cross the fingers again. Guys, if you are able to see me, cross the fingers too with me to just make sure that this is going to work. And yeah, let's wait and... Okay, this time it doesn't work at all. Okay, let me adjust this. Just 1 second. And something is definitely happening here. So equals to 0. All right. So I think I found what will be the problem. We're going to change those 3 for now, and we're going to remove this condition, and let's see if this thing works. Okay. All right, guys. So remember, if you have some questions, remember that this is the last class. Also remember that I will be able to answer you a little bit more in just by accessing the official Discord group. Okay, guys, this time it works. So, what will be the next assessment that you need to do? Okay, so I already teach you the basics. For be able to make this a little bit more interesting, remember that you need to add some sounds and just enhance a little bit the visual experience, okay? So just for be able to have the map once again, you are going to have just the same I have here. You are going to have the time to count. You will be able to select which skin did you have for playing the game. And once you complete the roads, it's going to just teleport you to the beginning, and it's going to show you the countdown. Okay, so for these guys, just use the same trigger that you used before to show the player the amount of laps. And yeah, we already finished our class, or all our season class for creating a map. Right now you have all the information. If something reminds, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, remember that we are having this specific new contest that you will be able to win. Anyone can participate, and I'm going to personally rate the works. And yeah, we already finished this template, so it was very good for me to know you guys. Let me place here this is going to be the contest, okay guys? So remember that you can participate. For this you need to create an actual map by just following the previous classes and this class. Remember that you have until 16th of May to submit the works, and I'm going to personally qualify all the works, okay? So now that we already finished the class, I'm going to start giving you some codes, okay? So just let me know if you're ready to get some codes. First, I'm going to give you some codes for the mini events, okay? From the previous classes. So I'm going to type in the chat the codes. Okay, so just get ready and get in the codes for you. Just one moment. Okay, so here we go, the first code. Let me know if you're able to see it. Okay, so remember, it's only going to be for the first of you that can claim it. So I'm going to place it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. All right. That's the first one. So now I'm going to give you another code for mini events. Also remember, the second one is also going to be the same. Not all the players will be able to just catch it. Just the first ones are going to be. Okay, guys, so as from the previous classes, I forgot to give you some specific items. I'm going to give you 10 skin cards also, okay? So skin cards are going to be here. Are you ready? All right. So remember, guys, more than one player can actually claim it. Remember to be fast because not all the players will be able to. Okay, and finally I'm going to give you another skin cards code, okay? Here we go. Okay, and yeah, I personally have another codes. Those codes are going to be passed just in the one that, or if you present me some advances of your work in the Discord channel, I can also provide you another code. Okay, so guys, remember, right here in the description, you will be able to just access to our Discord channel. Remember, it's not going to be the same for MiniWord, it's something specific for this class, okay? And for the next class. So it's not confirmed yet, but we are going to have another classes soon. So that's very nice. I see that you get the skin card. Perfect. And yeah, just to let you know, we are going to create another classes. So just be pending. We are going to announce the next classes soon. And if you have some ideas for MiniWord to have some classes, just remember to just access to the Discord channel and write me some ideas. Probably we can schedule a class depending on what you like. Once again, I'm your friend, so if you want to add me, just access to the Discord team. Tell me that you want to add me in the game, and I will be able to search for your invitation because right now I have a lot of invitations. I receive like player invitations all the day. Let me show you. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to me to receive your invitation if I don't know if you're adding me or not. So yeah, just remember to tell me directly in the Discord team that you are going to add me, okay? And yeah, guys, thank you so much for all of you. It was a pleasure to provide this class. Also, if you want to get some feedback here, just let me know, okay? Once again, if you are going to have some questions about it, remember that later I'm going to submit a video. Actually, the previous classes are already saved on a video. The video has been edited, so there's not going to have to last that long as 2 hours. This class is going to be shorter. So later you will be able to check also the class again, just in case you miss some parts, you can just rewind. Also, you can rewind this specific live interaction, okay? So that's it for now. Thank you so much once and more, and I hope I can see you in the next classes, okay? Bye-bye, guys. And I'm doing the streaming. 1, 2, 3. A hug for all of you. Bye-bye.